So boom, I close my door and I'm trying to hit that 100,000 mark because I'm only 20,000 away. And I kid you not, in 15 minutes or less, I lost a whole 80K. Then a month later, I found out I had a baby on the way.
What's up, YouTube? So I lost $500,000, and I'm going to show you exactly how that happened to me and how you can avoid doing the same thing that I did. But today I'm going to show you a few other people that managed to do the same thing. Not the exact same amount, but hey, losing money is losing money, and nobody wants to see that happen. So let's get right into the first one.
How much did you put into AMC?
Was about $14,000 total, and I think it was 2021.
How much did you walk away with?
I'm still holding on to it to this day.
What is it valued?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Why don't
dude,
you
they
take
did
a
so
little
many
peek?
different stock
Why don't you
splits.
take a little peek?
They did so many different splits, and
Take a little peek. Your portfolio should be able to tell you what your position is.
yeah, they did so many different splits over the time. There was
Sure.
actually a day when it blew up, and I was at work, and I had two of my coworkers with me, and I had it pulled up on my work desktop, and they told me, they said sell, because my account had hit
Valued at.
like $80,000, $81,000, $82,000.
Your life, your investment.
I know.
You sell, you put it into the index, into the market, and that grows for the rest of your life.
This is what I'm looking at right now. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on.
ahead.
What's it valued at right now? I want to make sure I understand.
$2.29.
No, your entire position.
Oh, my entire position. My position equity right now is $373. My net liquid is $373. My open since opening is at negative 14,187.
For what are we doing?
I got so fixated on like, oh, it's gonna keep going up. It's gonna
Exactly.
keep going up.
And
it's gonna keep going up.
Your family makes fun of it. And you've done nothing to hold yourself accountable. So I don't want to hear accountability. Looking for accountability. You've never taken accountability for anything in your life.
But it turned out, yes,
We all
I'm
know
sitting here
people
still
like you in
holding on
our
to-
lives, and I just want to let you know this. And I'm calling this as I see it. And I hope this is a wake-up call. But every single person, as far as I know, in the United States, likely knows someone just like you in their life who does the meme stock, who does the Turo.
So he started off with $14,000 that he invested in AMC, and then it went up to $82,000. So get that, it gained up to $82,000. I just got to do the math on that real quick. 5.86 times, almost went up 6 times in value. And guess what? Kept on holding on to it, thinking it was going to continue to go up, 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 up. And that's what most people do. You go from starting at $14,000 all the way up to $82,000, and you don't sell because you think the stock is going to continue to grow. And then you get a nice surprise. One day, that stock goes down in value. And then you keep holding on for hope, thinking, well, it's probably going to go back up. But it keeps going down and down and down. And so where he had invested $14,000 in the beginning, by the end, that money was worth $373. So that means he put $14,000 in. And then now today, because of where the stock has gone, when he tries to withdraw that amount of money that he put in, he can't, because now it's only worth $373. That's crazy. But that's what happens a lot of times when we're listening to, hey, invest in this popular stock. It's going to make you a great return on your investment. You don't have to worry about anything. It's going to go up, up, up. Everybody should buy, buy, buy. No, don't listen to what other people are telling you. There's a way simpler way to do that. And in this video, he actually mentioned something called index funds. And that's something we're going to talk a little bit more about. It is very easy for you to do. You can buy one from any stockbroker. A stockbroker is simply a company like Fidelity or Vanguard or Schwab, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade. These are companies that facilitate somebody like you or I, just regular everyday people, being able to buy stocks that are on the stock market exchange. And I'm telling you that there is something going on with people promoting buying individual stocks and trying their best to get people to go in on these things. And they don't understand. People like you and I don't always understand exactly what they are buying. And we don't understand the risk that's involved. And so the lowest risk that you can take is actually investing in something called index funds or mutual funds. And these things are automatically tied into several different companies all at the same time. Think about it like going to the grocery store. If you want to buy a bunch of different types of cereal, you can go to that aisle and you can find one particular cereal that you want to get. Maybe that's Apple Jacks, or think of it as Apple stock. But if you also want to buy something like Raisin Bran or Frosted Flakes, you can buy all of that stuff and put it into the basket. And when you are buying multiple stocks and putting it into one basket, it represents something called an index fund. And there's several different index funds out there. One of the main ones I tell people to go and get is something called the 500 index fund, and many companies have this. And basically what it is it's a basket of 500 different companies that are on the stock exchange. And so you own a piece of every single one of those top 500 companies. You have to make sure you look that up. Later on in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the ones that I invest in and show you all of the different options that are available to you. So make sure to keep watching. Let's go to the next video.
Moment of transparency. Y'all, I was really going through it yesterday. I was crying to God because I literally lost 300%. Well, I was down 300% in the stock market. Yeah. So if you didn't know, I'm like a stock girly. Well, I'm trying to be. I'm learning. I'm a part of Stock Baby, Jade, YM Baby, stock community, which I love. I just like following people that I actually know and I really know their testimony. I know they're not capping, because a lot of people be on here capping. They really make money off of people joining their community, not really in the stock market. It's not saying they don't know how to do it, but they didn't really reach like the outcome. Like, you ain't make a million off of stocks. You ain't make $500,000 off of stocks, and you around here trying to teach and charging people arm and leg for a group. But nonetheless, anyways, so yesterday I went and I bought a put, and I'm like, okay, the day before yesterday I bought a put and it was supposed to expire on Friday. Me being, I'm gonna say greedy, it went green, but it was like a $10, like maybe 10% up. Like, I was like, no, I think it's gonna go more down, because earlier in the week I took out so soon and I only profited like maybe $200, and that $200 actually went up to $1,400. So I was like, okay, I'm thinking smart. I'm not going to pull out too soon. So that was my mindset. Y'all, that thing went up. Remember, I bought a put, meaning I'm thinking it's going to go down. That thing skyrocketed up and stayed there. I was down. And when you're over 100%, it starts eating at your buying power. So it makes, what am I going to invest in now? You ate up my money. When I tell you, I was so discouraged. But then I went to the Faith Hustle event, and there were like multimillionaires there, and they were speaking about their testimony about how God like just turned their life around financially. And it's just like, it's not even about the money, but the purpose. It's about you serving other people. And it's just like, God would never leave you without. And remembering that, because God has me in this season where I really have to depend on him, y'all. When I tell you, when I get out of this season, I can't wait to tell y'all my testimony. But you know, I'm always gonna be transparent with y'all. Y'all, I'm going through a season of drought, and it can be discouraging, because it's like God has literally brought me to the end of myself, where it was used to be so hard for me to ask people for help, where I've asked people for help and I've gotten help, and I'm so appreciative and grateful. But sometimes you have that shame lingering over you, like, oh my gosh, I just want to be able to do these things for myself like I used to. And then for a moment, I'm like, started like, wow, when I was in the world, I used to be so like ambitious and I just knew how to get it. And God had to quickly remind me of Lot's wife, looking back at the old, like, yeah, you may think that was something back then, but imagine what I'm trying to bless you with now. You thinking $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month is so much. But imagine if I bless you with $100,000 a month. That's where I'm trying to take you. But first, I have to build up the character in you. I have to build up the work ethic, the discipline in you. So you are the reason for your delay. That goes back to the word that he gave me a few months ago. So yeah, and not being discouraged, because I wrote in my journal years ago that I want to be like, I want to take stock seriously. So I'm not going to let this discourage me. And I just hope this like little TED Talk motivates you and encourages you to not give up, whether it be in business, school, whatever you're pursuing, what God put on your heart to pursue. Don't give up, no matter how hard it is. You're going to experience loss in anything, right?
So here's what sticks out to me about this particular video. You got another person who has joined a community, and a lot of people get onto social media and they find these people who are selling some type of community, and you got to join it by paying $39 a month. And then other times you'll have people who are advertising a free class for you to join. Come and join this free class. We're meeting up on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, and we're just going to talk. I'm going to answer questions. And next thing you know, you get into that class, and towards the very end, they say, yeah, so everything you've learned now, really want to make sure that you understand there's a way for you to get more information. And y'all tell me in the comments if you've actually seen one of these pitches. And they say, join my class. It costs $300 or $299.97 for you to get into this class. And once you're in this class, we're going to teach you 5 different things about technical analysis and margin and puts and calls and all this fancy language about buying and selling stock. And then they say, yeah, on top of that, once you actually buy this class, which will take you 5-6 weeks to complete, just 6 1-hour sessions, the next thing that you should do is join my community. It's going to cost you $40 a month to be in here. We're going to talk about the next stocks that you should buy, what you should sell, the different kinds of moves that you should make in the market, because we're going to have some inside information about what happens in the stock market that you really don't have access to. All of that stuff is not true. It's way easier to invest in the stock market by doing something simple, and that is investing in index funds and mutual funds. Very simple, very low cost. And the added benefit is, instead of you having to watch the stock market completely every day, watching the news, watching whatever else, whether that's tuning in to a call that these people are selling you on or paying attention to what people are talking about in the community, you don't have to worry about that at all. You can rest at night, not have to do much self-study and figure out what's happening with the market. You buy the index fund and you go to sleep. Why? Because in the index fund, it is tracking the performance of 500 different companies for the one that I talk about. You are actually going to be the person that benefits from it. And these are not things that cost you money in order for you to get into them. So I'm going to show you those here in just a little bit. One of them that I like is from Fidelity. It's FXAIX. But there's several others because Vanguard has one, Schwab has one, and many other brokers have them as well. Take a look at it right here as we go into the next video. So take a quick look, jot this stuff down, pause it if you need to.
I lost $26,000 trading SPX puts today, and I'm going to go through exactly kind of what I did wrong, what I could have done better, and the play that I took. All right, so my entry was on this candle here as it broke 66.45. I was waiting for the previous day break. Also out of the range, so you can see the low of the range and the high of the range. I wanted to see SPX clear out of the range, and I was really hoping for the downside move because QQQ also had a wick to fill. So I entered SPX puts on the candle that broke and held below 66.45. So I waited for the candle to hold. I waited for the previous day low to break. I waited for ES to break. The only thing that was off with this play is that the NASDAQ had not cleared low of day. I just took it without the NASDAQ clearing low. Obviously, I didn't wait for the NASDAQ to break. And on a day like today where market is extremely choppy within the first hour of market open, you want to always make sure that both futures are in sync. You want to make sure that both futures are either clearing high of day or both futures are either clearing low of day. And I did not wait for the NASDAQ. I did not wait for QQQ. And I entered it. I waited for SPX obviously to break and hold out of the range. ES broke and hold. NASDAQ did break out of a overall squeeze and had selling pressure coming in, which is why I felt comfortable entering. I just ended up getting faked out. You can see even for the rest of the day, market just ended up faking people out. This is one of those days where you need to, one, know when to call it, usually within the first hour, especially if we have data. We had 9:45 and 10 a.m. data, and the data did not do anything for the market. That was the first sign to kind of walk away. Within the first hour of market open, it was extremely choppy. It was still in a range. It was one of those days where I should have walked away a lot earlier than I did. Another thing that I want to mention is if you are red on a day like today, it is okay. Sometimes every single box in your trading plan can be checked and the market will not give you the move. It will fake you out, and that is not your fault. You followed all of your trading rules, you followed the trading plan, you made sure every box was checked, and you still end up taking a loss. And it's really you against the market some days, and the market ends up winning. Also, there will be days where the market will not give you any opportunity to make it back. So obviously, I was like, okay, I'm red on the day. Maybe I'll have an opportunity to make it back. Nope. This is what the market has been doing all day today. Now, if you're a range trader, this is golden. But I am a breakout trader, so this is just hideous for me.
Wow. Lost $26,000 in one day. Now, I don't know if you paid attention to all the fancy language that she talked about, but candles and ES break and hold, talking about getting faked out by the stock market. Now, if this is your life, if this is the one that you live day by day because you like to trade stocks, put puts and calls and holds and all that other kind of stuff on the stock market, please just comment. Let me know that that's you. I want to know who those people are because that sounds like a lot. And then tell me also, emotionally, how do you feel every day? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel stressed out? Are you worried about what's going to happen during the day? Are you able to spend time doing the things that you really enjoy and love? Are you able to spend time with the people that you want to spend time with? Or are you stuck in front of a computer screen? So $24,000 is what she lost. That is crazy. Don't do this. Don't do this to yourself. Don't do this to your time. Don't do this to your money. This is not the best use of time. But if it's you, all right, go ahead. But not me. I'm not trying to get into all this. And you might want to think about it too, listening to people's testimonials about what happens with their life. So let's go on to the next video.
Is it normal that the market immediately goes against your position? Yes, and that's why you shouldn't be day trading. You see, your broker are normally partnered up with massive hedge funds who use bots. These hedge funds are also often the market makers. It is to your broker's benefit if you lose money, especially if you're on margin. I know this because I used to work at a Wall Street broker. So the bots take a position against you right after you make a purchase. And if you're not a trained trader, you might panic sell, which means the broker is going to make money. Cha-ching! Day trading is rarely a long-term wealth solution.
Well said by somebody who actually used to work in this marketplace. Day trading is not the best thing to do. And these days, you can see it yourself. There's a lot of artificial intelligence. And so are you telling me that you might be able to beat a machine continually, a supercomputer, something that is like ChatGPT? Are you thinking that you can beat that consistently for years on end? Maybe you can do it for a day, maybe a couple of days, maybe even a few weeks, but there's no way that you are going to beat a computer at doing these things. These companies, these large brokerage firms, they harness the power of all the money that we put into their hands through fees. And they use that in order to gain a very strategic advantage. And beyond that, they have access to knowledge that we do not. So it is very important for you to understand what you are up against. And because of that, let that drive your decision, because you are not going to spend the same amount of intellectual property as a computer. It's just not possible. So keep these things in mind when we talk about investing in individual stocks versus investing in something like index funds or mutual funds, which can really carry the weight of those decisions that you would normally make about what you would invest in. The only thing that you have to do is get money that you earn and put that into an account. And then in that account, buy index funds consistently every single month or every couple of weeks. Let it be automated. That way you don't have to think about it. You can just continue to live your life. Let's go on to the next video.
I lost $1,000 trading ES this morning, and it was very clear that it was going to go down. Very clear. I didn't analyze my charts as well as I should have. Didn't spend enough time on it. I feel like I got very overly confident in my new strategy, and I'm not going to change it. I'm still going to keep doing just keep with my same strategy that I tweaked a little bit the last 2 weeks. I still like it. I'm gonna keep doing it, but I don't know. The last 2 days have been kicking my butt. I haven't been sleeping. Work has picked up so much. Yesterday I had like back-to-back clients and I barely ate. So I just feel like my body, like me mentally, like I'm not okay. Send help. So maybe I should take a break from trading because I'm not. My son, I was sleeping, or I can't even talk, like I'm so tired. He kept waking up last night like 5 times in a row. So I'm like surviving off of broken sleep. And it's been like this for the last 19 months. Yeah, I can see it in my skin, like I'm just tired. But I'm not gonna give up because I'm not a quitter. I don't quit. I'm very determined, and that's just how it's going to be. I'm going to keep learning from every single experience. But yeah, I lost $1,000 today because now I'm over leveraging. I was really confident about my strategy. And like I'm winning, but I'm also losing just as much. It's like I'm breaking even. It's fine. I'll fix that. But yeah, that's what it is so far.
So part of what she said is she lost $1,000. But not only did she lose $1,000, she's been losing sleep. And then even beyond that, she's been not eating from time to time. And then there was a detail in there about having a son that hasn't been sleeping very well at night. And therefore, because he's not sleeping well, she hasn't really gotten a lot of rest. She's gotten a lot of broken rest, she said. And here's the kicker to me. She's been doing this for 19 months. And she wonders today, maybe she should just pause for a little bit and just take a break. And then in addition to that, she's doing this trading while she's also working some type of job. I don't know if it's full-time or part-time, but this is a tough life. And then on top of that, she talked about how she is winning, but at the same time, she's losing just as much as she is winning when it comes to trading. This is why the trading game is not meant for ordinary people. It's not meant for everyday people. And even in fact, the experts have a hard time beating what are average returns of index funds. The reason I talk so much about index funds is these are kind of your one-hit wonders. They're very easy for you to get into, and it's very easy for you to stay in them. There are not only index funds that are for tracking the entire stock market, where you have a basket, like I mentioned earlier, of 500 different companies. There's also different kinds of funds, mutual funds, that are called target date funds. And these target date funds get into asset allocation, which we'll talk about in the next video. But there's a lot of different kinds of funds that can meet whatever need that you might have. So I highly suggest that you check out the ones that I mentioned earlier on in this video, and I'll make sure to leave them up on the screen here in just a little bit. But just a little bit more about the story of me losing $500,000. So back in 2008, I was working for a company right out of college. And at that company, we had it to where there was a 401k set up. And it had both a traditional type of 401k and it also had a Roth type of 401k. It was very, very new. They had just released it. And because I was reading some things back then, some Kiplinger personal finance magazines that talked a little bit about Roth types of retirement accounts, I elected to do the Roth IRA, and I'm really glad that I did. The setup at that company was for every 3% that you contribute, the company would match that same 3%. So if my income had been $100,000 and I chose to contribute up to the match, that would have meant me contributing $3,000 over that year. The company itself would have added in another $3,000. So the total contribution would have been $6,000. So I did this matching contribution all the way up to the 3% match every year while I work for that employer. And ultimately, by the year 2011, I had about $50,000 that was in that particular Roth 401k. And that was not just my contributions, that was the growth of that particular stock. Now, what stock did I use back then? I used a Vanguard 500 index fund. And that particular index fund did very well during that period. It had its shortfalls, its difficulties during the 2008 crisis, but it did recover from all of the downfall of the stock market back then. Now, fast forward a few years later, that money had grown to be about $70,000. So this was in 2014, 2015. And the mistake that I made is I elected to use a portion of that money as a house down payment, which you can totally do. If you withdraw money for that reason, it is not a taxable event, and there are no penalties for it as well, based on what the IRS law was back then. And when I did that, I took out about $40,000 from that account. And what that meant down the line was something that was pretty drastic and unfortunate for me, because when I took that money out of the market, that money was no longer making interest according to how that stock was performing. Why? Because I had taken it out as cash. And here's the kicker. If I had left that money in that account up until now, then that money would have been worth about $495,000. And that would have been without me adding any more money to that account. From the period of 2015 up until now, I would not have had to add any more money in that account for it to grow to be almost $500,000. So that's why I say it's very easy for us to do certain things, to make moves emotionally for the stock market and also for some very practical reasons. But we have to make sure that we're looking at the entire picture. I should not have taken that money out of that account. And looking back, I wish that I had not. Now, I've done just fine ever since because I've continued to invest in index funds along the way. And those have grown very well, averaging between 10 and 15 and 18% of annual average returns. And that is great. So let's go on to the next video and see what people are talking about.
Time when I made 80K in one day and lost it in 15 minutes. So boom, I'm broke as a joke, right? But I had this overwhelming feeling that like a breakthrough was coming. So I just kept trusting in God, and I just kept saying like a breakthrough was coming, a breakthrough was coming, a breakthrough was coming. Well, I had my phone bill that was due. It was like $79, right? She sent it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I know she just sent this money for the phone bill. If I don't pay my phone bill, it's gonna get shut off tomorrow. And then I got to thinking like, should I put it in trading and try to like make some money from it, right? And some in me was like, man, just take that risk. So I took that risk, took my phone bill money and put it into my trading account. Remind you, I trade options. So I trade on the broker pocket options. And then in like a few hours, I turned the $79 into $5,000. So boom, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop for the day. This is crazy. I didn't expect to be here, but I was expecting a breakthrough that week, and I was just overwhelmed with like faith that week. So boom, I'm trying to sleep, right? And then it hit about 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you know anything about a relationship with God, you know when he wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's a sign for something. So I get up and I get in the word, right? So I'm Bible studying. And then after I Bible study, I'm like, you know, I'm a trade. You know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. The market is open. I'm a trade. So boom, by 4 o'clock in the morning, I hit $10,000. I'm like, I never hit $10,000. And the first person I told was my brother. But that was the first mistake I made by telling people and boasting about it. So boom, by like 7 in the morning, it hit like $20,000. And remind you, at this point, I can't withdraw because I just made a new trading account to start fresh because I felt like I just needed a fresh start. And I had to wait 24 hours for the ID verification. So I couldn't withdraw. So I'm at 20,000 in my account and I can't withdraw. So boom, eventually I get to about $50,000, and this is a Wednesday. So it's time for church. I go to church and I'm praying. I'm just thanking God for what he has done for me and all of that. I get out of church. My best friend surprised me with a cake that said $50,000 on it. Not $50,000, but 50K on it, because they know how long I've been like working hard at trading. And we go back to the house. We're celebrating with my family, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm boasting, I'm bragging about it. I'm just going about it like how I shouldn't be, right? And I go in the room and I'm continuing trading, but at this time, the real trading markets isn't open, only OTC, and that's like off the market. But I get up to $80,000, and my homeboy came in there and he's like, man, just stop. Like, I'm like, no, I want 100,000. He's like, man, just stop. And I'm like, no, man, I'm gonna keep going until I get $100,000. And he walked out the room and he said these words. He said, God is going to humble you. And I said, no, he is not, because God loves me. So boom, I close my door and I'm trying to hit that 100,000 mark because I'm only 20,000 away. And I kid you not, in 15 minutes or less, I lost a whole 80K. And God did humble me, because I was being greedy. I was being boastful. I wasn't being humble. And in that moment, my love for the money was so high that I thought God wasn't going to take it away from me, because I was in my walk with him. And I was mistaken, because in that moment is when I realized money isn't everything, and that God rules over it all. Then a month later, I found out I had a baby on the way.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a surprise there at the end. There's a lot of things to take away from this. So, starting off with $79 of a phone bill that's due, and he just takes a risk. He's like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and put this into the stock market. And then the next thing you know, it turns out to gain momentum, and it becomes $5,000. And then after that, it becomes $10,000. And the guy is boasting about it, like he said. And then the next thing you know, he's like, well, one of the things, I can't withdraw this money over the next 24 hours because it's on lock while my ID gets verified. And yet still in his mind, he's thinking, let me get some more. Let me keep going. Gets up to 50,000, then 80,000, like he said. And then the ball drops. He says in 20 minutes, he loses all of the $80,000. And he mentions like some references to some scriptures, such as the proud will be humbled and the humble will be exalted, that love of money is the root of all evil. And these things are true. But in this story here, you see that greed really can get in the way. For a lot of people, they experience a lot of success. And the next thing you know, they're addicted to that success and they want to keep going. But it's really important to understand when you need to stop. And for a lot of you all watching this channel, you need to stop trading. It's draining your pocketbook. It's draining your emotional energy. It's draining your intellectual energy. It's taken away from the time that you have to spend with family. So I want to encourage you to really think about that. Make sure to watch this video again if you need to, just so you can see some stories. And definitely listen to parts of my story and make sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes that I made. I come on here to tell you exactly what is true. I try my best to give you the resources that you need that will really help to improve your life and give you financial hope. So if this video helped to give you a little bit of that, do me a favor, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe so that you know every single time we drop a new video. Here's a way to do that. Subscribe, and then here's a video that YouTube recommends that you watch next. Have a great week, and I hope you have even more financial hope today.